For this half of the semester, we're going to be moving more into the kind of role a recreation professional plays in the community, because as we'll discuss, the leisure plays a pretty important role in every community. And then some of the techniques and skills one could use in the community and, well, frankly, in any recreation field, whatever that might be, you might be heading into. But when you think back on what characterizes a community, it's natural to think of the things that community likes to do for fun. New Orleans, New York City, Rome, England, Paris. We define those places by the recreation that is available there, either for tourists or tourism as a recreation field itself, or what the people there like to do for fun. Recreation, in essence, defines a culture. And therefore, the communities within it are going to be defined by the what they like to do for fun as well. Like, I live in Ithaca right now, which is a drastically different place from the small town Canisteo, New York, that I used to live in, where the first day of hunting season is the busiest day of the year, whereas in Ithaca, it's really completely the opposite. It's defined by what it likes to do for fun. So because of that, leisure kind of takes on a very important role in terms of people being able to be themselves. They're able to be more themselves in a recreation setting. I like this definition here. Recreation parks and leisure service agencies promote and encourage involvement of citizens in the community. It really does. People get involved in the community when there's things that are fun to do. It's not when there's work to be done or even volunteer work, but when there is fun to be had. People come out of the woodwork. It is the community. And so we don't really have the community if we don't have leisure. Community kind of disappears if we don't have it.
A town connected, and how does a community form? In Robert Putnam's Bowling Alone, he writes about the collapse and revival of American culture. Putnam believes civic engagement, how we connect with one another to change community, has decreased. He reveals that we have become increasingly disconnected from family, friends, neighbors, and our democratic structures. Putnam surveys the decline of social capital in the United States since 1950. Social capital refers to the social networks where neighbors look out for one another and engage with one another. In other words, social capital in action is a tight-fit community that keeps an eye on you, and like the motto in Cheers, everybody knows your name. Research from sociologists like Putnam and George L. Kelling show that lower social capital correlates with more crime. This theory proves true for a town such as Frederick Douglass, Illinois. Located between University and Bradley and Lincoln and First, violence is at 3.2% per 1,000 residents and robbery at 6.7%. Frederick Douglass's robbery rate is more than double the Northwoods neighborhood nearby. Why is that? In Ray Oldenburg's Great Good Place, Oldenburg emphasizes informal gathering places in which people gather between home and work. He calls them third places. In the book Great Good Place, it states that third places are where people can gather, put aside the concerns of work and home, and hang out simply for the pleasure of good company and lively conversation. Goldenberg says these are the heart of a community's social vitality and the grassroots of democracy. Welcome to Huber's, a local bar or third place located on Church Street. Huber's is a place people attend daily. The atmosphere is welcoming, it is within walking distance for many, and most importantly, conversation is the main activity.
That is, it's all neighbors and good friends and cold beer, and it doesn't get any better than that.
Huber's is more than just a restaurant, it's building social capital.
and meeting people. That's, isn't it, Bob?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's all the people.
It's all about friends.
Yeah, friends.
I can drink.
Like you said, you can feel protected. Like, you can, somebody's watching out for you in here.
Oldenburg shares a list of attributes that make a location a third place. Number 1, the primary attraction are the patrons. Number 2, regulars. If you enter the location, you have to see the familiar faces you've seen before. Number 3, accessibility. The location is usually within walking distance, nearby proximity, and open for long periods of time. Number 4, it is diverse. There's a mix of styles of people. You see people of different gender, races, and ethnicities. And number 5, open seating. Seating has to be able to keep people, such as tables and chairs. Oldenburg states, in order for the city and its neighborhoods to offer the rich and varied association that is their promise and potential, there must be neutral ground upon which people may gather.
All right, so that idea of a third place is really important. The idea that we as a community need a place where we can symbolically let our hair down and not have any stressors, the stressors that are related to work and home, because there are stressors in both those places. And then there's the third place, and that's your recreation setting. That's where you go to get a drink, or where you go to read a book, or where you go to rock climb, or where you go on a hike. Really, it can be any of those kinds of places, as long as you're out there to relax, be yourself, meet people maybe. I look at the third place from a little more broad sense, but the idea that you don't have stress outside of your home and work life, it is an important part of the community. Remember at the beginning of that video, it said that, where there weren't lots of third places, there was more crime, because the community starts to disintegrate. And so recreation, in essence, then creates community. Anyway, so as recreation professionals, it's our job to make sure people have a third place, some place that they can calm down, some place they can be part of their community, share with their community, get to know people, so that the community then stays alive.
There are actually 2 common market stores in the city of Charlotte and in the whole world. The first one opened in Plaza Midwood in 2002. My thought process was to kind of create the atmosphere of when I was a kid in Wingate, North Carolina, this place called Austin's General Store, where my dad took me to get a pack of nabs and a Cheerwine after my T-ball game. So that was the original concept. Basically a neighborhood convenience store / meeting place that curtails itself to the particular neighborhood that it's in.
We also carry a huge variety of little weird toys and novelty things just to give people a kick. It's a place where community, democracy, creativity, sense of civic engagement, and pride all grow. And what we really wanted to do was to try to see how do we make those things happen in a dirty little convenience store. For us, the third place was a place where it's not work, it's not home, but it's the place you like to be. It's the place in between. Some examples of other third places would be Caribou Coffee on East Boulevard, Soul on Central Avenue, Alexander Michaels in 4th Ward,
Laurel Market in Eastover, Central Coffee on Central Avenue.
Amelie's is a great example.
So see, this community is defined. They see all these third places where the people can have that sense of civic engagement. Anyway, so in your community, you need to know what your community needs, what kind of third place your place needs. It might be a rock climbing gym. It might be a bookstore. It might be a restaurant. It might be a community center. It's really just going to kind of depend. So you need to know and understand your community, what the politics are, who's there, what organizations are involved, and be an enabling force for others.